Hello everyone. So today we are going to do a little demonstration of our salad spinner with the lettuce that's coming this week in the boxes. This is a butterhead lettuce. It's actually the same variety that we sent those first couple weeks, but this is grown in the field, not in the hoop house. So in the hoop house, which is under protection, they can get much bigger and more full. We could have left them in the field a little bit longer, but some of them were starting to get pretty tight heads, and I didn't want them to get over mature. So, there'll be some salad mix, a lettuce mix, a mix of different lettuces in a bag, and then there'll also be one small head of this butterhead lettuce. And this is all coming from the field, so you're going to want to clean it. This isn't going to be as clean as the first rounds of lettuce, which have all come from the high tunnel hoop houses. So the first thing you're going to want to do is pull some of the outer bottom leaves off that are maybe going to be a little bit too rough, and those can just go into the compost. And you can either then run water and rinse, or I've already run some water here, so I'm just going to pull all these leaves off, and you can see that there's dirt that's gotten into these layers. And we've dumped this lettuce once in order to get the field heat off and also to clean it, but it's still, it's really difficult for us to get it completely clean without totally taking the head apart, especially with the field lettuce, and especially after it's just rained, which we just got about 1.5 inches of rain over the weekend. So unfortunately the lettuce is going to be a little bit dirty. So I'm just basically pulling all these leaves off of the main core, and then when you get down to the middle, you just kind of twist. And so then I'm just going to agitate the water with the leaves in there. And if you run cold water in a sink, of course you want to clean the sink first. And then the other thing to know about this particular technique is that anytime you have greens, lettuce, spinach, kale, chard, really any leafy green that gets kind of wilty, this is a technique for kind of bringing it back to life. You can put it into cold water, let it soak for 10 minutes or so, and then spin it, and it's really going to bring it back, as long as it's not too terribly wilted. So that's a really good technique to know. I'm sure many of you already know about that. But so this is our salad spinner. This is an old salad spinner that we've had. I think it was a wedding gift for Carol and I. It's cracked on the bottom, so usually a salad spinner you can use it on the counter, and then after you're done you just dump the water out. But in our case we have a little drain the bottom of it, so we just put it inside the sink, and it's just got this little basket. This is such a small head of lettuce that I can just do the whole thing in one little batch here. And you just put the lid on and do that. So if you don't have a salad spinner, I would say it's probably a good idea to get one if you're, I think it's sort of one of the CSA member essential. I'm going to actually come up with a list of it's not a lot of things. There's, you don't need to have a super fancy kitchen, but you can get by with a few really key tools in your kitchen, and this I would say is one of them, especially if you're somebody that wants to be getting lettuce directly from a farm, and you're going to be getting a lot of it, or it's just a nice tool to have around. So that's it. Now this is just going to go into a bag. We save these bags. This is one I think from last week's spinach. So we just put it on our little. I rinsed it out, and then we just put it on this guy. I showed that in the previous video, but then let it dry, and then this can just be reused. And then we just have a couple jars in our cupboard here where we put those leftover bags. Another thing about these bags, these plastic bags are not recyclable at most. There's no place in Duluth that's recyclable except if you bring them to a drop-off point, and there's several drop-off points. There's one at the Whole Foods Co-op, there's one at each of the Super One locations, and just outside of there, it's the same place that will take their plastic bag. So you just, what we do is we just have a hanger with a plastic bag from Super One or whatever, and then, if we have extra of these, or if they rip or if they're damaged and we're not saving them, you put those in there. So it's just any kind of plastic that's stretchy like this. If it's not rigid, it's a stretchy kind of, and it's not too, filthy dirty. You can't recycle that, obviously, if it's really a dirty thing. But just a good thing to know. Best, of course, to reuse them. But then, when they have kind of worn their time, they're ripped or whatever, then that's the way to do it. You can't just put them in the regular recycling. They will not be recycled that way. They have to be put into a specific container. Like I say, they have those pickup locations throughout Duluth and Cloquet, and I'll see if maybe I can find a link or something to more specifically give you information about that. But if you just keep your eyes open at those locations, the Super Ones, the Whole Foods Co-op, they do have a collection place, and I'm sure anybody that's inside those stores can help you find that. Okay, that's it. Thanks.